Well, Avatar 3's not been going down massively well in terms of its box office. It's still earned loads of money. Don't get me wrong. I'll preface this by saying it overall done a load of money, right? Like 1.3, 1.4 billion dollars, a lot. But it's slowing down, and it is, I think, probably going to struggle hitting $2 billion. And this is bad when the third movie in your trilogy is doing $500 million less. Yeah, that's a problem, you know. We don't know where it's going to end up yet, obviously. But it's not been a gangbusters smash hit. The other films were, I guess you could say that. I mean, they were, right? Like they did over $2 billion. Mental money. Absolutely mad. And so now you're getting comments like this. So Avatar fans are begging audiences to go out and rewatch the movie. And not only are the Avatar fans doing this, but you've got to remember Disney were doing something really cynical, you know, with Avatar, because obviously they own Avatar, was that they were releasing teasers for Avengers Doomsday, a different one every single week, to get people to go back and watch Avatar. The weirdest thing. Absolutely bizarre. Very, very strange. But it's not doing great. You know, this movie's just not doing great. And I actually don't think it's a surprise. I think the first one doing well, sure, fine. Like, that came at a time where CGI wasn't as good as it is now. Entire worlds and universes weren't readily created with CGI. It was groundbreaking. You can't take that away from Avatar. The first one, it was groundbreaking. So for people to be transported away to this blue world with blue people, all this kind of stuff, it made sense. The second one, doing well, kind of made sense as well. There's been a really long time since the first one and the second one, and I think people were curious, right? Not only did they like it, but yeah, they were curious as well. And there's not been that long between the second and the third one. And I think the end result of the second one in people's eyes was, this is kind of more of the same. You know, we see this sort of intangible nonsense on screen with CGI. It's a dime a dozen. What am I getting here? You know, the story wasn't that rich in a lot of people's eyes. Obviously, because it is declining in box office. So I'm not trying to hate. I'm just trying to, you know, assess objectively the situation. And so then when the third one rolls around, where's the incentive to watch it? Well, we are desensitized. We see CGI everywhere. We see these grand, you know, great grand CGI worlds, and we're immersed in this intangible stuff everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's this intangible stuff, and people are crying out for more practical stuff. So I don't think it's a massive stretch or a surprise that this isn't doing that well. And James Cameron even knows that, right? Like, he has been speaking about the potential, you know, lack of another movie for a long time. He knew even before this movie was coming out. He knew. He'd been saying stuff about this not, you know, being something that was going to continue in his eyes. So I thought we'd take a look at this. Please do hit subscribe if you are new here. So let's get into this, because I thought this was interesting. So as this article notes, after 5 weekends in theatres, Avatar Fire and Ash sits at $1.319 billion worldwide. $1.3 billion worldwide. So I over-egged it there when I said 1.4. And I say only, and it has only made $363.5 million domestically. That's not great. That's not great for James Cameron. They're still not going to be hating those numbers. Those numbers are still solid, but it does show a declining interest. And it's made $955.3 million internationally. And as the article says, while that figure would represent a massive success for most blockbuster releases, it does place this film well behind its predecessors and has sparked growing anxiety within the fan base about the future of the franchise after some pointed comments from James Cameron regarding the cost of these films. Now, some people think that they are setting this up, that basically James Cameron can force his way to Disney and say, we need to use AI to reduce the costs, which could be the case. So for comparison, Avatar remains the highest grossing film of all time with nearly $2.9 billion. That obviously had a bit of a boost when they re-released it. But a closer comparison is Avatar The Way of Water, which did $2.3 billion. So to be $1 billion off that is not brilliant. Now, it does depend how long they're going to keep this going for in theatres, but it's not very brilliant in terms of its box office. It has really, really slowed. It's sort of creeping now. And I do wonder, even if you're going to, keep it in theatres for like 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever, 14 months and months and months. I do wonder if it'll still leg out to 2 billion. I think it's still going to struggle. I don't think it's going to do it. That's my estimation on it anyway. So industry watchers currently expect Fire and Ash to top out closer to 1.5 billion. I mean, if it hits 1.5 billion and it stops, that's staggeringly bad. That's a staggeringly bad sign for Disney, James Cameron, everything. And the only way they can bring this to some form of success is that the next one be made with AI, and so it's cheap. Because it's the overall expenditure of these films that makes them. You just can't make them for that when they're only producing $1.5 billion, which I know sounds mad. I understand, but that is the world we live in at the moment with these kind of movies. They just cost too much money. So there's a coping Reddit thread. Pandora needs us. This is not a drill. And so basically fans were urged to return to theatres for repeat viewings in hopes of strengthening the film's final numbers. Mad. The post argued that Fire and Ash represented the best of the franchise so far. Really? And suggested that its performance could influence whether future sequels move forward, which is true because Cameron has said that himself. And the anxiety isn't entirely unfounded. Disney has already assigned release dates for Avatar 4 and 5, which is true. James Cameron has basically said, yeah, these are not clear cut. All right, we've got some problems here. I don't know if we can do this. And as they say here, Disney and Cameron feel the pressure. So behind the scenes, the financial stakes remain high. Avatar films are notoriously expensive to produce, right? Massively expensive. And he's come out and said this himself. He said that they're too expensive. You can't keep making them when you're doing these kind of numbers. And so I don't know. I mean, we're at a bit of a crossroads here. I don't think this film is going to hit 2 billion. I think if it hits 1.5 billion, I think that's a massive wake-up call for Hollywood as well as James Cameron. Like, he's been hedging his bets to move on from this for a little while. And I wonder if he'll use that as a jumping off point. I think he probably will. But yeah, begging people to go out and rewatch them. Gee, not great. Not great. So yeah. It's not good. I still put it from the perspective of, hey, this could be the end. But anyway, leave your thoughts down below.